Mwamba Musambo is a dynamic and purpose-driven leader, known for blending faith, boldness, and strategy in the world of banking. As an experienced head of retail banking, Mwamba brings a strong track record in business transformation and talent development. Her career spans with a robust foundation in coaching, customer relationship management, and executive leadership. Mwamba is a change maker in the banking sector, a finance professional with qualifications from the Association of Business Executives and a business administration degree from Edinburgh Business School. Mwamba has not only shaped high-performing teams, but has also curated spaces for women to lead boldly and with faith, with inclusion at the center of her intention. She joins us at the Sit at the Table to reflect on her journey, her bold leadership, and how she's navigating a world where, indeed, change is constant.
When I think about it, it's going to be officially 25 years since I started working. So I've been in banking all this while. Some of the biggest things were, firstly, I was the first female head of agriculture in the banking sector in 2009, or was it 12? So I always remember I interviewed for a job, firstly as an agri manager. At that time, it was a boys' club, typical. Still is a little bit, but at least there's some women in there. And then I get the job and I'm in there. I had just had my son. So I had a toddler. I didn't know how to drive a manual vehicle, and it was required. So I arrived on my first day, and then you could hear people in the back office going, "But she's a girl. And she's got a small child. How will she go to the farm blocks and get it done?" At that point, I was challenged to say, I've got to prove them wrong. I didn't even say I didn't have a driver's license. So I took that man's job, became a relationship manager. Now I needed to drive to the farms alone. So I told my husband, I need to go to driving school. Got to driving school and started to drive a manual vehicle. It's not like now where a van is automatic. There were no automatic vehicles. So, and then I worked in town and there was the flyover bridge. So one of the biggest things for me, the first one, was to get into a man's job. And a fellow woman saying, "But why is it a girl?" So I think for me, that was the beginning of, I like to be first at everything. So I was the first female head of agriculture. I was the first female agriculture relationship manager. The next one for me was, you literally get given a job. And you're told, oh, you're going to take this job. And, it's all set. And then change their mind. And you're all set, mentally set. This is going to happen. Now to retract your steps. People are expecting you to go into this new job. And you don't go. But you must still come back with your head high and still be able to do the job excellently. So for me, it's around when the setback came, what did I do? Setback came, pretended nothing happened, showed up with the energy of every single day. Came there, did my best, exceeded, and eventually I still got the job. So for me, it has always been taking the first step, being the first, even in my current job. First female head of retail for FNB. Again, it was almost, especially when your predecessor was fantastic. The next thing is, oh, a woman. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just about to prove I can do it even better. So for me, I think in the many times it has been taking what everybody says you can't do, giving it your best shot, proving them wrong. So for me, if you tell me I can't do it, you're just telling me to do it even better, because then I have a reason to just do it. And that has been me. Firstly, as has been said, it's challenging and it's all I have done. So, but in that 25 years, I've done several different roles. So it has always been about believing in myself enough, but also for me, I'd like to speak to those who go ahead of us I've had people, this is not a cliche that I stand on the shoulders of giants. I've had people who have pushed me off the cliff, and I'm thinking they're just about to kill me, but they catch me when I'm about to fall. So I'll give you an example. I began, so interestingly enough, the day I got my acceptance to go to UNZA was the day I got my acceptance to go to Barclays Bank then. At that time, things were not so great in terms of my mother. I'm single mom raised. I had the best mother in the world. So my mother had done everything. I went to international schools, but at this point, things were slowing down. And I'm thinking it's time to pay back for everything she's done. So Barclays, UNZA, I thought Barclays. But I had already accepted. I went to UNZA to join the Q School of Humanities. Interestingly enough, I wanted to be a lawyer. So when I got the two, enrolled for School of Humanities, then I said, I think let me go and work. It's time to take care of my mom too. And that's how I started my banking. So I started my banking having had just a diploma in business management. So I went into banking. I had done economics, law, and business studies at A-levels, and I had gotten my diploma. And I went in. And because I hadn't done my degree, I started right at the bottom. So I went into there and I began in operations. Funny enough, I was one of the shy ones, never a salesperson. Now people say I can sell ice cream Eskimo. I don't know how that happened. But so started in operations right at the bottom and then decided I will do my degree while I'm here. And then I got married a year later because my husband would tell you the first proposal, I said no. He actually reminds me now, almost 25 years later. He says, but at that point, I just told myself, there's no way I'm getting married without having a job. I always thought I'll be the independent one. So now that I was working, he says, aha, can we now get married? So a year into working, I got married. So I was new wife, had a diploma, but then the banking sector is very dynamic. You cannot have a diploma and expect to get anywhere. Remember, I'm just Mwamba Katongo Musambo. My father has no name. My father's name won't open a door. So I needed to figure it out. And the first things first, to all the girls, you've got to go to school. So I began my journey and a career of doing my degree. Just as I was doing my degree, and then 2 years into there, I get pregnant with my son. Excited about that. So you kind of do both ways. Not always. So shelved the degree, nursed my child. When he was about a year, pursued my degree and finished it off. And interestingly enough for me, I always remember, there was a guy I was with at UNZA. And we were standing together in the Q, School of Humanities. So he obviously pursued his degree and I went to work. By the time I was finishing my degree, I went into management. So it was exciting, brand new car. So bankers of those days, they bought us new cars. So I had the first Hilux. And just as I was becoming that manager, the guy I was with in the queue, funny enough, came and joined Barclays Bank at the time. And for me, because when I joined without the degree, I was almost telling myself, have I shortchanged myself? Will I ever achieve? Will I get to the top? Now I'm married, I have a child. Will this happen? Maybe I should have gone to UNZA. So at that point, when you're thinking that way, what happens is this guy comes and he's graduated. Guess what? He came for a job smaller than mine. Because at that point, I had now had 5 years of banking experience. As a manager, I had a brand new car. But for me, that was a reminder that God has everything figured out. Our destinies are very different. Your destiny might be get the degree first. Mine wasn't get the degree first, but I still landed. For me, it gave me a sense of assurance that it's okay that we take different paths. So then, moved from there. I did a stint in retail. So in the 25 years, I've been a head of client experience. I've been a head of agriculture banking. I've acted as a head of business banking. I have done head of retail banking. I've done head of branch banking. I'm currently acting CEO. So it has been a journey of a lot of things. One thing I can tell you is if I look back in my career, there are names that will always resonate as people that believed in me. I had people that looked out for me. Mukwandi Chibesakunda is one. I call her mom, an amazing woman. Another one is Mwansa Mutati. Another one is Nicholas Muneku. I've actually never told him this story. I was about to quit work. There were times when Barclays used to do a lot of things about letting people go. Those days I get excited, get paid 180 million. That's like, I think 20 years ago. Then he tells me, young lady, you've just got one son. And what's your plan when you stop work? I said, never have your kuleka. I was upset with whoever my supervisor was at the time. So I wanted to make a rash decision. And then he tells me, I'm giving you 2 weeks of leave. Go home. If you come back and you have a plan, I will let you go. I came back, I had no plan. And he told me, just sit here. That man saved my life. Because I look at some of the people that stopped work at that time who would have stopped with myself were not at the same place. Clearly, my path, God had destined it in the banking sector. So it's people like that. I remember one like Mukwandi is one who's always comfortable to give you the stage. There were times I'm thinking I'm too small for this, I can't speak. She just tells you, go. You have people like Mizinga. I've never worked with her. But if I pick up the phone and I'm stuck, she's there. My current boss, another amazing woman, she's not there and she leaves me in her seat. So to those of us who have gone ahead, are we comfortable to let somebody else take the stage? I've had your Jagger Kalyelye. I always remember, he's the late. I was offered a job by another bank. And I was about to leave and he was retiring in like a year. And he says, we cannot let her go. What we do now is let me step down and let her take the job, but don't let her go. How many magnanimous leaders are there like that? That man was such a blessing. There's quite a number of them. There was another man, Charles. He was our CEO. He gives me a job that I didn't want. At that point, he looks at me and he tells me, the problem with you is you think that this is your journey. I think you're more than this. So take this job. On the face value, I thought I was being demoted because I had less direct reports. It didn't seem prestigious. And that's the problem with young people. You might think, somebody's sending me to this. No, but I don't have 10 people, because some of us size ourselves by how many people report to us. We size ourselves by, how many people see me. But that was actually a journey to me becoming a director. So at that point, it felt like I was being shortchanged. But honestly, again, that's somebody that pushed me to the edge and I got here. So there's several people that have been a blessing. I'm not one of those who's going to say, oh no, I achieved this. I'm really one of the smart ones and everything. Well, there could be all that. But had there not been the right people on my path, I probably would not have gotten here as fast as I did. So for me, be that person for somebody else. Don't do it alone. Biden Longway is another one. So it's so many people, and mostly a very supportive husband. For me to do my degree, my master's and everything, he let me do it. So it's about who's that village that gets you going. Yeah. So more than anything, I tell people, I'm Jesus people. And everywhere I go, you must know that as a first strand. You know why I say that? I want people to hold me accountable to the principles that live there. I will not arrive in any institution. The moment I walked into FNB, which was like 4 years ago, I told them I'm Christian. If you see me do stuff that is not hold me accountable to it, I'm a child of God. Same thing at Stanbic, same thing at Barclays. Because at the end of the day, when you put the standard there, I try and stay at the top by God's grace. So how have we navigated such things? I think, I honestly wonder sometimes, how do you make it when you don't have strength from within? And I think my strength has always come from God, come from a great family. I always tell people my mother always believed in me. I think she thought I can be president. My mother called me director when I was not even heading a department. My mother called me CEO, director. And, I keep smiling and tell myself, this woman, she hasn't lived to see this stuff. But I came from a mom that believed in me. And I try and do the same for my kids. How have we navigated that? Firstly, centered on the fact that I walk by God's grace. I always believe there's nothing I can't do unless I don't set my mind to it. So I've done things like business transformation. So even when in the business that I'm currently in, it was in a different place. I look back today, 5 years later, and I see amazing stuff happening. I tell people my legacy is not going to be the great numbers you see or things that you read in books. My legacy is the impact I have on people. I tell people if I have had a close relationship with you, interacting in a workplace, family, and your life is not better, then I'm not doing my job as a leader. I pride myself in giving my best shot to people, sometimes a strength or a weakness, because there's always the element of being taken advantage of. Because there's always those that, just want to take. But I always believe that will be my legacy and is my legacy. How have we navigated those things? I think is always ensuring that you don't come lower than your principles. In whatever you do, I've had tough decisions. Sometimes, especially when you're in a place where you can give customers facilities and stuff, there's a temptation to feel you've done it yourself. So they owe you. But keep the principles at bay. There's just stuff I will never do. There's just lines I will never cross. So I think for me, it has always been living by the principle, doing what's right, even if it hurts. And most times, good things hurt. Because others will take it the easier way, and you're thinking, but how did this happen? How come I didn't get the chance? But if you stick to your principles, in good time, it will happen. So navigating those transformations also is about, I have a very creative mind. So when I'm resting, I'm thinking of what I want to do, what I want to transform, and I'm willing to work 200%. So that is always me. So I like to say, if you find me in a place, it's either they have a problem and they want me to sort it out. If you find me in any type of season in terms of a workplace or a church arrangement, just know that there's fixing that's happening there. So for me, it has always been persistence, willing to, sometimes it'll feel like you're pulling a train, literally. And pulling a train is hard. But when you know that you're meant to be there, you still get it done. Sometimes you get into places where people are thinking, I don't even think she should do it. Could have been somebody that did it better. So to navigate those, or you find people that just think, I could do it better than her. One of my biggest problems, people think having confidence is an easy thing. Do you know that there are people that are uncomfortable with confidence? That has been my problem. You walk into a place, you're among people that you think, everybody is fine. Then they think she's too confident. I mean, who does that? Then you find because of that, everybody wants to leave you out. Because they're thinking, no, when she comes in here, she'll do it better. So let's keep her away. So a number of times I felt excluded. And people just think because I'm confident, because I can do it, like they almost put me with a Superman cape. I don't have a cape. I actually just would like to be included. You're thinking, but I would have loved to do that. You can tell from the faces, they're saying, no, if she comes, then everybody will notice her. So let's leave her out so that we get a chance. So sometimes the pain I have felt over the growth is to be left out because I'm really good. And somebody else is thinking, if we give her a chance, she will look better. So let's leave her out so that we are okay. So I'm grateful for those who've been comfortable with my confidence. I'm grateful for those who have been comfortable with my energy. Because sometimes people think those who struggle are introverts. No, I think nowadays extroverts are struggling more because they're getting left out. Because now it almost becomes a battle of, no, the introvert is trying too hard, and then, no, let's leave the extrovert out. And then sometimes substandard work is done because you've left out somebody who would have done it naturally because you're trying to force fit something. So I have grown in several ways. More than anything, sometimes I honestly believe the fruit of the Spirit has been my grace. Because sometimes you think about it, what do you do in a hostile environment? But yeah, here we are. Always do the right thing. Working hard, there's nowhere, whether they dislike you or not, hard work always pays off. Especially for those of us with 0 surnames, work hard to get what you need. Like I said, my strength or my weakness is people. It has both worked for me and has hurt me deeply. So I'm one of those who, when I walk into a place, the first thing I want to do is connect and relationships. I want to know your name. If you're like somebody that reports to me directly, I want to know your name, your mother's name, your children's name, what's the problem, and I will invest genuinely without expecting anything in return. So that is my nature. So in that process, I end up trusting very quickly. But as I have grown older, I'm now becoming picky with who I trust because I have burnt my fingers. I've burnt my fingers, burnt my hands with people that I have gone all out, have invested my time, only to be pulled back. So as you grow older, you learn, yes, I'm gifted. I have a big heart, a heart that accommodates everybody. But for my own sake, since I just have one heart, I protect it by choosing the relationships I get into. So for me, people will always remain the heart. There's a joke at the office all the time that if you want to piss me off, is just go after my team. For me, it doesn't matter. I think I have grown to an extent where personal attacks don't move me. But if you go after the people that I take care of, then you're likely to get a fight. So I'm one of those who understands I have a lot of energy, exuberant. So I try not to get into any kind of fight. So I'm one of those, the more silent I am, the more upset I am. But people always come first. So to those of you that have got big hearts, love people, it's both a gift and an enemy. So you have to know how to manage it. Otherwise, it can destroy you because we get emotionally involved with people. But yeah, as I have grown, I'm learning some relationships are transactional. Some relationships are just meant for that season. Others are not for all the time. So as I have navigated both clients, I'll look at it. There's some customers that I looked after probably 15, 20 years ago. I can walk onto a farm if I'm stuck and somebody will listen to me. Because at the end of the day, we established good relationships. And good relationships mean investing. If somebody's in trouble, make time. You can't be in a relationship where you always take. So for me, even for clients, give them genuine responses. Even a no is a good answer. It's like children's discipline. There are customers who I decline facilities for, but for good reason, was still in good books. Even for my team, there are some that I've disciplined, but was still in good books. It's the sincerity of heart. So always don't get into relationships to get out. Just go into there and do your thing. So some of the greatest talents that I've seen have been the most difficult relationships. I always remember there's a young lady, amazing young lady, very bright up there, but had very difficult people skills. And because of that, she was kept in a role for a very long time. But then I looked at her and I said, this girl is brilliant, but everybody would say, no, not that one. She's difficult. But then leadership is about finding the rough diamond, helping it chip off the edges. For me, I believe, those people who claim, no, I'm that one's mentor, now that they're doing well, no, that's not mentorship. You should be that one's mentor when nobody wanted them. So I think for me, importantly, is how do I identify people? The first thing for me is a good heart is the easiest thing. Because a good heart means it can be teachable. So they might not be polished. I mean, nowadays people have different accents for this and what, and they think that will get them there. No, just a good heart, teachable heart, somebody that is willing to learn. For me, I am willing to invest the time. So how do I identify talent? In most times you walk into a room, somebody who's willing to learn is easy to be able to mentor. No matter how rough they are on the edges, if they're willing to learn, take them on. If they're hungry enough, we were joking earlier around people that are born in the 2000s. There's a lot of entitlement. But if you find one that is hungry to grow and to learn, that is pursuing you, then you know that you can fix anything with them. Somebody who is humble enough to be able to pass the seat on to somebody else is easy for somebody to do that. So around people, for me, I distance myself from somebody who's arrogant because there'll be a problem. I distance myself from somebody who believes they're better than others. So for me, also, the starting point is just look at how somebody treats other people. If you want to test somebody's good heart or ability to lead properly, leaders are different. Even Hitler was a leader. But it's a choice on what leader you want to be. how somebody treats the receptionist, how somebody treats the guard, how somebody treats somebody at the till, because that's somebody who at that particular point is believed to be on the lower end. How you treat them for me tells me what kind of a person I'm dealing with. Somebody who's arrogant to the receptionist, somebody who wants to tell the guard off, somebody who treats their maid bad or treats their own siblings bad, that's a red flag. Don't get into it, because you find yourself dealing with a problem you can't break, because some things are just not trainable. Yeah. Yeah, so, and normally that usually comes with a question of work-life balance. The honest truth is there is no balance. It's really about the choices you make. So I will give you a typical example. This is a very busy week for me. I will be traveling, but at the end of the day, I have 2 children that I love deeply. I am also a minister of the gospel, and I also work. None of that should suffer, but I must make choices. So to be able to ensure that I'm present in all those spaces, my daughter closed school yesterday. I know I'm traveling in 2 days. She wanted to do her hair. I stopped what I was doing to take her to do her hair because I'm her mom. I don't want to delegate that. I'm someone's wife. So I tell people, despite the title and everything else, my husband's a spoiled man. He gets a tray of breakfast every day. Doesn't matter where I'm going. As long as I'm home, I do that because he's valued as an important part of my life. The other thing is I also have a son. He sent me a message, and if he asks for something, I want to check whether it's something that he needs and I must take care of it. Tomorrow, I will go for choir rehearsals. And remember, I'm in my mid-40s. I'm going to sing on Sunday. And I'm singing with women who, to them, I am just Mwamba. At that point, we clean chairs together. We do this together. Those remind me that without everything else, I am just one that serves in church. So it's choices. So because I'm going for choir this week, it means I'm not taking social functions, because then it will mean I'll be at every social function. I'll not be a wife. I'll not be a mom. I'm one of those that says my job or ministry must never be beyond my family. My first ministry is to my husband and my kids. So it's really choices. So like last weekend, had a terribly busy weekend. So because I had a busy weekend last weekend, this weekend is for home. I'm going to be cooking. I'm going to be watching TV. I will be with my family because I know I'm traveling. So make the right choices. Choices that include your family, choices that include your work for God, and choices that make you present. So when it's time for work, it's time for work. I will be at the office from whatever time. If it's a bad week, I'll knock off 20 hours. When I get home, my laptop is not opening. It's a choice. I need to be present when I'm at home. So if I need to work late, I'd rather work late from the office, finish off when I arrive home. I'm just my kid's mother and my husband's wife. So really, choices. Make the choice that makes it valuable for you. Never overdo it to an extent where your family suffers, your ministry suffers, your work suffers. That stuff will go away. What do you do? So it's choices for me. Make the right choice. I think for me, importantly, like I originally said, I start by declaring my faith. So you see, in a career like ours, there's board meetings, there's cocktails, there's all kinds of cool stuff. Some of it happens outside the country. So I could be a Christian in Zambia if I want, and not a Christian outside. But what you find for me in Zambia, you find it everywhere else. So importantly is declare at the beginning. Because once you declare, if you're a genuine individual like myself, you then find you won't waver. Because even if you think about misbehaving, you're telling yourself, I have declared I'm a Christian. When I was trained by Disney Institute in Orlando, because they do a lot of client experience stuff, they actually said, leadership, you are on stage all the time. So I actually tell myself, I'm on stage all the time. There are certain types of clothing you will never catch me dead wearing. I am a leader in church. I am a leader everywhere. Somebody told me that's such a difficult life to live. I said, unfortunately, I chose to lead, so this is what I have. So you won't find, because I'm thinking, if I bump into one of my workmates and his wife, and then they find me looking another kind, one, the wife begins to mistrust where the husband works. So personally, I choose to be a role model. I just don't believe in Christianity that doesn't bear fruit. You can't tell me you're a Christian and you do some dingy stuff. There's just some things you must never get into. So I think for me, it has always been, I would actually rather lose a deal or lose a relationship if that relationship is causing me to choose between my faith and what we are doing. So for me, it's straightforward. It has been a painful process sometimes because then those who make the interesting choices seem to be going very far. But I always say life is a seed. Plant the right seed. It'll pay off. May take longer, but it will still pay off. Stay principled. Childhood event, I think for me is watching a single mom be able to give us everything she did. So I honestly don't remember, and my memory is very good, a memory of my mom and dad together. So my mom gave me such a role model, and it made me think I can be anything. I can achieve anything. So I think for me, primarily is the fact that the separation, the divorce happened while we were very young and raised by this woman that did everything. Just made me believe and set a foundation for I can be anything. Later on, I obviously became a believer. It then fueled my faith in that not only is it from a worldly perspective, but I even have God to make it even more possible. So I think for me, it was that. And then the next thing was singing in the choir. If I can sing in front of so many people, I can speak in front of so many people. I can engage at that level. So for me, it's coming from a place of being single mom raised and being able to sing in the choir at a very young age, because that then told me again, my life is also supposed to be having meaning in a godly perspective. I think what tends to hold women back, there's a couple of things, hey? Firstly, I would think about background. So like I have mentioned, I had a mother that believed in me. Like if I felt discouraged, my mother would think I can just do it. The first time I was singing in the choir, she made it seem like, maybe I was Whitney Houston. I even knew I didn't sing very well, but my mother made me believe I was amazing. So background also holds people back, which is why now as mothers, as women, can we be the ones that prop our own children? Because I tend to see women who come from a background of, like even up to now, they still fear their parents. You see it in how they operate. They bring it to the office themselves. So I think what holds people back is if you don't deal with your background. So you can't make an excuse in your 30s or in your 40s, that background. You have to make the choice now to change. So what holds people back is a background and then using it as an excuse. The other thing that holds women back is what will people say? So we still have some people that think, if I do that, what will they say? Are they going to say I'm neglecting my family, I'm neglecting my marriage? So maybe let me not do this. Again, that is likely to hold you back. And also wrong company. Sometimes you'll be among friends. And nowadays, like I said, choose who your inner circle is. You must be among friends that believe you can. If I think about one of the things that Bishop Jake says, he says, sometimes you're in relationships where people are almost poisoning your food. What does that mean? They keep telling you, no, that one you can't do. You haven't even been qualified for something like that. I don't think you should try it. But no, pursue it. I mean, people like to say that a man will go for a job that he's half qualified for. A woman wants to be 150% qualified. Hey, friends, believe in yourself enough to be able to go for it. So what holds people back is a number of things: company they keep, choices that they make, and sometimes you think about others then want to use being a woman as an excuse. No, I'm a woman, so I must sit at the table. No, we must not give you a job just because you're female. We're giving you a job because you deserve it. So what holds people back is some have become lazy. Some women just want to arrive. You arrive in a place. Sometimes I've traveled with men, and then you find some women, push my suitcase. Really? Seriously? Just push your own suitcase. I mean, you're asking somebody to push your suitcase. What else is going to be in there? So sometimes what holds people back is wanting to be treated a certain way, wanting to get special favors. So there's a number of things, but I would warn people of: be wise on the company that you keep. Believe in yourself enough. Go past your background. It shouldn't be able to hold you back. Honestly believe that having gotten to where I am, the next is to be a CEO somewhere. I mean, not CEO in terms of we have our own business with my husband, but I honestly believe I'm going to work for a little bit more. So I'm CEO for a great international company, but also for me, I believe I must set up a foundation for girls. Education. I always believe I will teach. Teach for those who can't afford it. I believe one day I will set up a place which will be safe for young women. They can get taught, they can get a tertiary education. So that is, for me, when it comes to giving back to the community, it will be that. But also to be able to ensure that while I'm in the seats that I'm in, to use my seat for somebody else's benefit. What I find disturbing is people that take pride in, I'm the only one. I was the only female there. Seriously? Make room for other people at the table. Make room for people to come and sit at the table. So for me, my legacy will be without holding back. I mean, at the moment, there are two young ladies who will tell you who do a job like the one I do. But I was willing to support them when they needed it. I was willing to let them go in that direction. So again, be comfortable in your own skin. So I tell people, as long as you're not coming in the way of my family, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable that you get better. I'm comfortable that I taught you and now we're sitting on the same table. So it's really around be comfortable in your own skin to support somebody else to grow. My legacy will be making your life better, growing proper corporate citizens that will stand the test of time and not be a one-time wonder.